Ah, jetzt gut. Ja, jetzt geht's. Okay, now we are live. Right. So we lost almost every viewer in the first 10 minutes. Perfect. All right. We have to wait for viewers again, I guess. Okay, bad thing is nobody's here. Fuck. Because my internet crashed. Now it seems to work, but I lost all the viewers. Perfect. Okay, wait. Get some viewers back here. So if you are in the chat watching my stream, just let me know by typing into the chat. Sorry, my internet went down 5 p.m. like it was planned, so sorry for that. We have to start over again, but here we are. We will come inside the stream. Guess we have to wait a few seconds. Here's back. Otherwise, we won't recover from that. We can discuss the questions you guys sent me on Instagram. And then I will see what I can share for you and you can watch it on demand. If you have questions, just type it in chat. I'm here and waiting for your guys' questions. See what I can answer for you. So please feel free to ask what you'd like to know. And we will get your answer up here in a minute, hopefully. So I would suggest we just wait for another 2 minutes and then we just start over with the questions you guys sent me. Let's see. Yep. Those ones here. There's actually no one around. All right. Hey, Max. Hi. How you doing, man? Hope you're good. So I hope you can hear in terms of the volume, my voice pretty loud and clear, and the music in the background is not disturbing at all. So please just let me know in the comments if it's something is too loud or too noisy, or I don't know. Just let me know. So the first thing we are going to do, the first question actually. Yeah, so Max, if you want to ask something about basic program, like we want to talk about flight planning today, a little bit of the options, activities, of course, and yeah, just the basics of the sim. I'm starting off with the main menu where we are looking at right now. Yeah, I'm fine, very good. Hear that? My game is actually in German, but as it's like only have big pictures for navigating through the sim, you can just click on the same spots in your language. So that's the main menu where we are. You'll find here some tabs the upper side here, which is Welcome, Profile, Marketplace, and Options. And on the right hand side you have some more details like your Xbox gaming name. You can choose some servers, of course, Europe, US, and Asia. It's basically it's automatic because it takes the one with the lowest ping. But sometimes those ones will get really high. You will have a very bad ping. Then it jumps over to another Europe server or maybe US server, depends where you are. Yeah, so that's a pretty basic main menu. You have some notifications over here. So yeah, if you download something, you will find the infos here. Also a friend tab where you can invite some friends of your Xbox list into your group and fly there. Can you speak German? I can speak German, of course. You can also ask on German and I will answer in German, but as I said, the stream will be English, so I stick on English, but if there are German questions, just ask them on German and I will take the answer also in German, no problem. So feel free to ask in German as well. But I will try to stick on English for this stream. Yeah, so you just want to fly and you don't want to do a lot, just jump in a plane. You always click on this world map, there's Weltkarte in German. That's more or less the place where you can plan your flights. Yeah, Max, we just discussed the main menu for 4 minutes and then I will get on your question. So the main menu is like, you have the world map here, but that's where you're gonna plan your flight or just select really quick an airplane on the airport, jump inside and go flying. On the right hand side where this blue and white plane is, that's more or less the actual events going on in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So every new world update the sim gets, you will find new activities like different landing challenges, short flights, bush trips. And if you click here, you will come into this landing challenge on Notre Dame, somewhere in the mountains in France. So yeah, it's like you click down here on the yellow spot, and then you're right in the cockpit. You will fly like 1 minute, and then your challenge is to land on this spot. So this will change on most of the updates. It's not something which changes on a weekly base, but on an update base. So let's say every 2 months we'll find new activities. The line underneath it says news, activities, and flight school. News is really short. Just find the actual patch notes, links for the social network stuff from regarding Flight Simulator, Instagram, Discord, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, you will find sales announcements from the store, so it's worth to. You'll find a sub option page which says landing challenges on the left and bush trips or wild flights if you played it from German to English. But in English it says bush trips, I guess. So you have a right hand side, that's the bush trips page. You have predefined versions regarding all updates. So see if there's a just keep the chat. Yeah. So if you have new updates, let's say we have the French update, the Japan update, stuff like that, you will find the new bush trips all here. And if you click on one, you have that plane, you have to fly with that plane, you can't change it. And you have a really big route, so you have more legs. You see it here on the right hand side. You start at leg 1, you see the distance and the eternal time it will take you to fly this leg, and it's around about 10 to 15 legs here, like 14 in the Patagonia version. Yeah, you just select leg 1 and click on the yellow spot, and you will just jump in the plane, being ready for takeoff on the given first airport. You can have an overlook, different screenshots of the whole tour, and you have also like an info box on the left side where you can read what's all about. So this given country or special landscape spot, all over time it will take you, and the length of the trip in miles or kilometers. So that's a pretty cool thing, to be honest, because you can discover a lot of cool places all over the world, and you don't have to plan the route by yourself. It's just all programmed in the given menu. But it wouldn't be a bush trip if you can just set your autopilot and fly from A to B. The cool thing is the map, the inside built map, which you can toggle with V on your keyboard, is more or less disabled. It works, but you won't see the route on your maps. So that's a little bit of a challenge. The cool thing is if you fly the leg, it says, for example, there is a big city near the lake, then you have to go over the lake and you will find a highway there, and then you have to go westwards the highway and so on. So you have a little bit more or less a guideline and a text version to fly to your destination airport. So that's a pretty cool thing for learning aircrafts, seeing good sceneries, and flying cool routes. And you have to just click on this yellow spot. You don't have to plan anything here. But that's worth to do it. You can just fly one leg, and you have to fly at least one leg, otherwise it won't save this. Yeah, that's pretty cool. If you want to have just something like a really short action, I would recommend the landing challenges, which is the sub menu on the left. If you click there, there's another sub menu which divides the landing challenges into different categories, like very famous, epic, and high winds. So maybe there is, if you click high winds, you have Yeah, here Gibraltar, Portugal, here Funchal on Madeira Island, Innsbruck in Austria and stuff like that, which is all of these spots are pretty famous for difficult crosswind landing challenges and stuff like that, and you can do that. It's also a given plane, it's also a given daytime and weather set. And the cool thing here is you just have to fly it and fly it and fly it, and you will get like a ranking, a global ranking, and you will see where you're, how good your skills are in terms of the placement you will get. So maybe you're inside the top 1,000 or stuff like that. So you can really take it as a challenge and going to be better. Like in the push trips, you can't change weather, you can't change the airplane, you can't change anything, you just can fly. If you click here, you will spawn in the air in a fully configured airplane. That's also cool, like, you know, it takes you, let's say, 2 to 4 minutes and then you're on the ground. So you can do a lot of different approaches in a very short amount of time. Push trips will be a little bit longer actions. All right. Let's see. So there's no other question up in the chat till now, so we can have a quick look into the flight school, which is the down left panel. And this one brings up another sub-menu, which is called Training. In Germany it says Allgemeine Luftfahrt. It would be in English GA, and Training on the right-hand side would be IFR. So, or let's say VFR and IFR. One is with general aviation planes, or it's more or less the Cessna here. If you click on the Cessna picture, you will find all those lessons, beginning from basics of the navigation, instruments, yeah, horizontal flight landings, yeah, all you want to know for navigating a small Cessna and bring it down on the ground again. You will find that in the flight school. I guess it's not pretty matured right now. It's really basic, but if you're really a noob and never knew anything about a cockpit, you know, if you watch this here and you don't know what that is and what that is and what that is, I will really recommend that you start with the flight school. I know it sounds a bit weird because, hey man, you want to fly big jets, all those stuff, but more or less the same rule of flying in a small Cessna or a big jet. Now you have to know your navigations and your instruments, and you will learn it a lot more easier in a pretty good flyable Cessna instead of a fighting jet. So you can have fun with a jet, but if you want to simulate serious and navigate like in the real world, maybe you're looking for online flying and stuff like that, you really want to make sure you know all the instruments and all the navigation stuff. Otherwise you will be lost in a very short amount of time. So just start off on the Cessna. You know, you can do 1 or 2 evenings, practice some landings, practice some navigation, and then you can plan. You have to do it like 10 weeks course or something. It's just like getting a little bit of the basic infos you have to know. Same thing goes for the big planes like the Airbus A320. There's only start and landing at the moment because I don't know if they're building more detailed stuff like pre-flight planning, all those things which are going on in an Airbus. It would be great if they add that. But you will find a totally different feeling in terms of the landing if you sit inside the Airbus compared to a Cessna. So just give it a try and let's see how good you can land an Airbus with your hand, not with an autopilot. So that's also worth to have a look at. But if you want to really learn flying, just click on the Cessna and start with step 1, and we'll see you will learn a lot of new things in 4 to 5 days. So that's more or less the main menu where we come into the sim if we start it up. So then you have a little bit of an idea what is going on there. Switching over to profile, you see my profile. It says 16 hours, which is this logbook inside the flight sim is totally bugged, and after the last world update, they reset it more or less all logbooks from all pilots all over the world, so that's pretty bad. You click on it, you will find what you did. So you see all my achievements are here. Yeah, different types of achievements. It says, for example, flight time all over in hours would be 530, and over here it says 16. So there's something broken. But you see all my achievements here, like start an Airbus by hand without support from the program, you get 100%. There's your check mark and achievement. So that's what you've there. And yeah, the logbook is over here, down the right hand side. If you click on it, you will find all the flights you did in the flight sim. So concerning this one, my very first flight was on the 8th of April this year, which is obviously bullshit. So yeah, this is bugged out, and you won't be able, as the Stobo told us, you won't be able to recover that. If you lost your logbook, it's like that. Do anything, they won't recover it. Yeah, so that's something to just fiddle around with it. Have a look. Content manager, middle down clicking spot, you will find all your stuff. I don't know, different stuff of sceneries, airplanes, stuff you have installed. You will find a section here says this scenery, in that case updates, so you can do your updates here. If you bought the stuff on inside the sim, you buy your stuff on Sim Market or other web pages, you can't update the stuff inside here. This is just for sim inside bought item. Okay, we come to that in a minute. All right, so hangar is, yeah, in the hangar you can watch your planes, you can change the livery, you can jump into the cockpit, more or less like a showroom. Switch over this airplane, loads it up, and then you can do the plane or can edit in this hangar, but you won't be there. You will be on that airport and not inside an hangar. All right, so jumping over to Marketplace over here, you will find a quick overview, which is very new, which stuff is, I don't know, sale, or more or less the new ones will show up here. Down right, you will find everything which is inside the Marketplace. If you click here, you can pre-select everything you like on the left hand side, starting at your wish list, starting over to yeah, what is already mine, what I get on the Marketplace the last weeks. Then you have bundles, you have some sale categories here, installed category, there's a free section, so there are a little bit of things which are free. At least it's one airport made from Aerosoft, which is really great in Germany, and all those world updates. Keep in mind, if there is an update, the sim updates, you will come into the main menu. After that, the first thing you want to do is jump into the Marketplace and get these world updates. You have to install it separately via the Marketplace. Just click it and then you download it. Then you have all the world updates. It's not just the update which comes if you start the sim. You have to manually download it inside the Marketplace. Then you can filter, like you want to just see all the sceneries from, I don't know, Flight Beam. Click there, only this sceneries. This is a pretty long list. these days. Hey Jazz, hi, how you doing, man? Hope you are great. You will find airports, international ones, regional ones, local ones, sceneries. Yeah, you can just filter whatever you like. In terms of the pricing, to be honest, there are a few shops on the web which offers you the same scenery, a little bit cheaper, to be honest. It's worth to take a look at Sim Market, FS Shop, and I don't know how all those shops are named. There are a few ones, just Google it. But there's also really often a sale, and it's worth to have a look there as well, because on the marketplace, if you find something on sale, like let's say Google Fly Tamper product, which is really great for 10 euros, you can make some good shopping things there as well. So yeah, have an eye on that. Set your wish list and you can check the prices really quick. All right, so that's it for the marketplace. You can find out the stuff by your own. Just click through, and over there we have options. We can do a separate video only concerning options. So I just jump over the categories, but you will find a lot of very, very detailed videos talking about only graphical options, which is on the left side here. You click there, you have the graphical options, camera, sound, graphic, data, flight model, different stuff, and the VR modus and the developer mode. I talk about that in a second. Graphic, as I said, there's a comparison video where there is only the low version on the left and the ultra version on the right. And it also says how the FPS impact is. So in that case, I would recommend to Google for this very, very good graphical comparison videos or graphical option videos. I play in, let's say, 2K. Full screen. You can just make a screenshot or pause the video here and see what my settings are. I have a 1080 Ti and an i5 8600K with 4.5 gigahertz, 32 gigs of RAM and an SSD card, of course. Just one thing, if you struggle really hard with FPS, the very last option here down on the bottom called Glass Cockpit Bildwiederholrate on German, which means it's a glass cockpit, what would it be? Yeah, refresh rate, I guess. There's low, middle and high. I am on middle. If you set it to low, you will gain a lot of FPS. A lot, by a lot I mean 5, which is a lot in a flight sim. So I will give that a shot if you struggle really hard with FPS. In other cases, it won't do anything. It's, just try it out and see what you can get. So same goes for the camera. It's better to adjust the camera inside the sim, so where you are on an airport with your plane, because you will see what that changes. Inside this menu, there's no reason to change the camera because you can't see the difference. Sound is more or less basic on my side, which is what is really cool is you can change the first thing here from standard to headphone simulation. It's nothing which has to do with regarding your audio setup on the PC. It's with the headphone simulation, it is meant that you are simulating a pilot inside the cockpit who wears his headphones for ATC and stuff. And what it does, it muffles all those sounds from outside, the engine, the ambient sound, the airplane sound itself, the wind and stuff like that. It's a little bit quieter, everything. It's pretty cool for flying online with the big Airbus, because you can hear the ATC really good, really clear. So that's what I do if I fly in the jets. I switch over to headphone simulation. so that's a very cool thing. Traffic, at the moment, World Update 4 brought a bug into the sim regarding the multiplayer. That's on data sector actually, but we have here KI off and real-time online, which is the Flight Tracker 24, I guess, the data from the real airplanes flying around in the world. You will see that airplanes mostly inside your sim. And you have a lot of sliders as well for adjusting the people on the airports, and the boats and the cars on the roads and the vehicles on the airport as well. So keep in mind, you know, you see my numbers, maximum is 40. This is really hard also on the FPS, so don't push that too high, because it will keep struggling your PC, I guess. Data is a really interesting page. You want to also have a look. That's all everything which comes into the sim, like all those photo scenery, is streamed via the internet. So if, for example, Bing is on off, then you won't see photo scenery. You have to be sure this one is on. Yeah. Online functionality as well should be on, otherwise no other stuff will work. So SMI is on, and off. This one is photogrammetry. That's the photorealistic scanned cities and houses and buildings and stuff like that. So this have to be also on, otherwise you won't see the photogrammetry cities like the new ones, Paris and Amsterdam. So that's what I was talking about a few seconds ago. This one, the last one here, is multiplayer, which is bugged out at the moment because you will experience a lot of stutters, or most of the people are experience a lot of stutters. So if you have stutters on the airport during the approach, just make sure you have this on off at the moment, because I don't know if it's with a livery or Asobo doesn't know it at least. So we have to wait for a hotfix. They say they know about the bug and they are working on it, but be sure to have multiplayer on off after the World Update 4. You will have a smoother flight experience, trust me. Yeah, the rest is on. So you see your data limits. You can set data limits. For example, if you have not an open line, an internet line, so where you can use all the data you are using, if there is an upper limit for, let's say, 50 gigs a month or stuff like that, you can just set a limit here. And you can say the bandwidth, which is unlimited at the moment, and I would recommend you to keep that on unlimited. Rolling cage is off, but what is rolling cage? That's also a very interesting thing. Rolling cage is something where you can manually cage the photo sceneries and the photogrammetry cities. So let's say you know you won't have internet up till 2 weeks. So on the day before you won't have internet, you set a rolling cage, let's say Germany or UK, for example, and you download all this photogrammetry and photo scenery on your local hard drive and store it there. So if you fly over UK or Germany without an internet connection, you will have your photogrammetry and photo scenery there, because you just pre-downloaded it. Not a lot, but a few people experience performance issues with the rolling cage. So I really would recommend only use it with an SSD, not with an HDD. But it's worth to try it out. If you have performance issues after you manually configured a rolling cage, then delete it. But otherwise, it's pretty cool to save also internet speed, volume, and or I don't know, if you have a very slow internet, you can just pre-download a city or an area during the night, and the other day you can fly with an offline connection at least, and you have everything on your sim because you pre-downloaded it. So I don't use it personally because I have a good internet connection. saying that my stream didn't start for 10 minutes, but normally in Germany we have a good internet connection. So you might try it out. Let's see, flight model. The flight sim has this legacy. Oh, I won't change it, but you can't change it if you click the arrows here. It will change from from modern to legacy. Legacy means it's the old FSX flight model. Problem is, the modern planes, if you download freeware planes, if you buy payware planes, they're programmed for the modern flight model, not for the legacy model. If you use a converted airplane from FSX, you fly with it, then you want to try out the legacy flight model, but only then. In all other cases, planes will be very buggy. You know, the flap speeds, everything more or less will be pretty bugged out and won't operate like it should, because it's programmed for the modern flight model. So I really recommend you to let it on the modern flight model. Don't use legacy. That's what I can say to you. But yeah, there's just this one case where you use converted FSX planes, but hey, there are so many new ones why you would use that. So just leave it on modern. Different topics. I can change to English here, but as I use it in Germany since day one, and yeah, I can tell you these things in English better and read it in German than have my whole sim on English. And I always have to think, what's that in German? So yeah. You can say your pilot avatars, stuff like that. Yeah, some legal stuff over here, so nothing to worry about. I don't know the English word for that. That means like if you have some problems with colors, with your eyes, viewing the text size and stuff like that, you can change that here. And there's the Entwickler, the version here, which is an English developer version, developer mode. This one will give you the FPS window. So if you want to know how many watts are your GPU consuming, how many FPS does your system provide you, and where is the bottleneck, maybe the CPU bottlenecks you. You can see it. If you put that on, you will get an extra fenster. Last time I used it, it bugged for me, so if I put it on off afterwards, it won't go away. I have to restart the sim. That's the reason I don't put it on right now, but if you do it, you will see this small window on the right side, and you will get all your performance information in the flight sim. And VR, obviously, is VR, so it means virtual reality, of course, and there you can just configure your VR goggles if you have one. I don't personally use one yet, so I can't tell you anything on here, but if you have VR, then yeah, you have to be inside this menu as well to get some things set up, but we don't use it for the moment. So that's it for the first thing here in the main set, and the middle thing is this. In German it's Unterstützung. I guess it should be something like support or something like that. That's all concerning the the system can help you during the takeoff. The system can help you during the landing. There's a lot of options here to set it on. You see, I have more or less everything on off. Only this thing here, which say let the KI operate my ATC voice stuff. So this one is pretty cool option to let your co-pilot do the ATC stuff, which is great, but all the other stuff is off. So there's no support for landing and starting, and also no checklist. Flight systems, it's realistic, middle, and everything is supported. I have everything off, so it's hard or fair in Germany. Then we have the third thing here is damage, but the first is collision damage. Set this on off, please. Do yourself a favor. If you fly online and you have collision on and there's one guy crashing in your flight and you're programming your Airbus 20 minutes and this asshole is crashing into your plane, you will find yourself in the main menu after a few seconds. So set collision mode on deactivated, otherwise you will experience really bad situations. The other stuff is set on activate or on. So this is something like an over stress for the airplane and also for the engines, which is all activated. So if you stress that too much out, it will take damage. And the icing effect, there's on off and there's only visual. I want to change that to visual because on the CRJ we have some problems with on because it takes too much from the engine's power. I set that visual. There's no effect in terms of icing. You won't experience any effect, but you will see the icing. That's pretty cool to have that on only visual. Navigation help is also more or less everything on off. You can set on everything on like routes and waypoints. This one is the taxi band, the taxi arrows, where you will find, if you set the second point here on, you will find inside the sim blue arrows, which guides you to the runway. That's pretty cool. And there's also a landing path where there is visualized squares where you have to fly through in terms of the perfect glide slope, so you can highlight pretty much everything here. Then we have what's that on English? Benachrichtigungen. Yeah, it's like some pop-ups. Also like a navigation help. It's all off. There are tips. There are plane systems. If you hover over with the mouse, it will say which, I don't know, which system it is and how it could be turned on, for example. So inside the cockpit, you will get some infos on the knobs and all those instruments. If you hover with your mouse over it, you have to put that on then. All right. That's something like your gaming experience. There's some settings for ATC menu for even if there is you can have your ATC on voice, so you will hear what the ATC say, but you can uncheck that and you will have all your ATC. You can see it down on the screen, letters written down on the screen. So you can do some quality of life stuff over there, but it's nothing to worry about at the moment. It has nothing to do with your visual stuff in the sim or your, I don't know, flight experience. Alright, and on the right hand side, inside the settings, is obviously the controls. It depends what you have on your PC. So I have a keyboard, of course. You see it here. It's not my keyboard, but it's a keyboard. I have a mouse. I have a joystick, and I have this throttle, and I have rudder pedals which are connected to the throttle here. So you see it here, and there you can bind everything. Be aware of this filter. I was struggling at the very beginning of my MSFS time. There is the default version is you see only the key bindings here. If you set this one to all, you find everything which is bindable, and only where there is a binding you see the knob number. Okay, So if you search for, let's say, P-Tot on, and you have it per default at only the binded version, you type P-Tot, it switches over to raw. You see that? So if you just here, where you see the binded versions, you have a very short list and you say yourself, hey man, where is my P-Tot? Just type it over here and it switches automatically to all, and you can find everything which is bindable. Okay, so first option is to type that what you're looking for, like camera or stuff like that, into this field. Otherwise, just use the arrows and go to all. You find a very, very, very long list. You can bind a lot of stuff. Okay, so keep in mind, come inside the menu. Let's do that again. Let's see it. Yeah. The default, it's always only the binded version. Click over to all and everything. And that's a lot. So that's something I would recommend to do also on a pretty small airport, but on Cessna, for example, you spawn there, you see there's always something like a pre-binding profile, like Microsoft knows what the top 10 used joysticks are out there. So you will have a predefined profile where you can jump through the cameras, retract the gears and the flaps and stuff like that. But if you don't like it on this button, or you need other stuff on your buttons, find it afterwards here, and it will save automatically, saves a new profile. Just switch over to all. That's the main thing. All right, so that's everything for the first overview inside the option tab. So I would say there's one tab missing, which is the world map, where you usually go into the sim and start your flight. So if you click there, you'll find a really big map. There's your plane on the left. Here's the starting airport. We don't have anyone selected yet. There's the starting runway. Of course, we'll have a rival airport, rival runway. Right hand side, we'll find the weather and daylight settings and season settings. So main part over here, then you can search and this thing like for a country or city, but you can also just turn that with your mouse, and pretty cool. That's Europe, and if you wanna have a daytime, there's a slider on the left down, just slide it and you can set it to daytime pretty easy. You see there are a lot of point of interest, because in Europe we had also already the UK update as well as the France update and Benelux, and you will find a lot of POEs, and these are really awful, I guess. So if you press F or click here, you can set stuff on, off. For example, this payware stuff, or let's see, cities off. I don't know. We can look at that. Point of interest. See? You can configure your map like you want. Go back, and you can also change the style of the map. You zoom in, it will automatically transform into this gray map. Okay, just for really close-up looks. But if you zoom out, you will have also this weather layer, which you can also change to off, and you can change the map to IFR, where you won't see the Alps here, for example. So there's no geographical map, it's just a IFR map. So set it like that. And that's it. So you go back and your map looks like that. It's a little bit more clean, a little bit nicer to see where everything is, and yeah, you can navigate a little bit easier. So the first thing we want to do, I will show you how to start a flight. So that will take, let's say, another 5 minutes, 10 minutes max, and then I am through the main main menu, everything which you have to know for your first flight experience. Just a second, I take a sip out of my drink. All right, so one thing, I have the online traffic on and there's no multiplayer on. So if you zoom inside, you see very, very small. In the stream it's pretty hard to see, but I zoom in. Okay, you see those green dots? See it? That's a real airplane flight. That's TUI 2714 going from, can we see it? Oops. Yeah, it flies over to Mallorca, Lepa, but there, I don't know where it's coming from, but it's actually it's a Boeing 737-800 on 39,000 feet. So that's the real world traffic. Just for you, if you are wondering what that is. So let's say we fly from Paris, Charles de Gaulle to, I don't know, Athens. Okay, so you have two options. So one is you zoom inside the map, you zoom, then the airport will show up if you know where it is. Okay, that's one thing. Other thing is you go over here, you know the ICAO code, you type it there, or you type Paris. There are a lot of Paris actually. We won't find it pretty easy there. If you scroll down, no, we don't have to. Paris actually, we have to. Where is it? Where is this thing? It's an R. Is it? It's de Gaulle. Charles de Gaulle. Paris. So if you type it, then you click it, and then it shows this circle. Okay, this circle is the distance you can fly from Charles de Gaulle, from Paris, with your airplane and the fuel on board. If we click on this airplane picture on the left, we will come into this airplane selection menu, and then we can say I want to take the CRJ, I want to take the Boeing 747 or the Airbus. Inside this menu, you can change the livery. For example, if you fly from Paris, you want to go for Air France, you click it, takes a second, and then we use the Air France livery. Next thing is the loading sheet, so you can adjust the amount of fuel you take with you, and also all the passengers, cargo stuff, and so on. So if I decrease the amount of fuel, like here, and I click on this airplane again to close the menu, or also down there, you see the circle is pretty small, and if I change that back to maximum, like let's say 94%, back, you see the circle grows pretty big now. So that's the range you can fly with your actually fuel on board. Normally, if you plan a flight, you're going to calculate everything in your flight planning, but that's another topic. Here you can see if you can't fly to Cairo, okay, because you don't have enough fuel. So there's a first glimpse of what is possible with your fuel on board. So I know it's too much right now, but Athens is over here. Where is it? Here. So it's pretty far out. Can take 6% more than we will come more or less safe to Athens, but yeah. First thing I do is, and I recommend to do that, change your spawning point. That happens, the easiest way is to zoom inside this airport. By default, you will spawn on the runway, and that's not good. It's okay if you're on a small regional airport, you know, flying some Cessnas on your local airport, there won't be any guys, most likely. But if you spawn in Paris or London or Frankfurt, there are a lot of guys if you're online, and it's pretty, destroys the immersion of flying if you spawn on, out of nowhere on the airport, on the runway. So just select the parking spot by clicking on it, take that, and now it changes from runway to the gate. You click here, you have also a drop-down menu where you have no clue where it is. Okay, just can click and hope it's good, but the better way is to zoom inside, click the white field, select it, and you spawn there. That's all you have to do for the first thing. So you select your gate, you zoom out again. We know that Greece is over here. We know Athens is here. We zoom inside. We click on it. They just set arrival, or in German it's Ankunft festlegen, which means set arrival. Click it. Bam. There's your line. But that's not the right line, actually. We change that in a second. Next thing you want to do is, what we did already is we set a parking spot for our airplane. And we set the arrival airport. The arrival runway automatically taken by the wind. You always see the wind information of the airports. You see it's 270 degrees. It's obviously runway 21 then. The other one in Athens is 03, which would be not good for this 270 degrees. So the runway number is always the degree number of the wind. The 200, it's the best thing is if this one matches this one. If we had on the runway 27 at given 270 degrees wind, it would be perfect. You would have perfectly headwind. This is slightly wind from the right. So there's one very, very important field. We just let that here set automatically for 21. There's one really, really important field now, which is this one here underneath the airplane. This one is calculated as an VFR flight or GPS navigation, which is obviously wrong because we are in an IFR plane. So we want to click on it. Next version would be VOR to VOR. We don't navigate like that today. We will fly an IFR flight, and there's a different flight levels. We take the upper ones, so it's a very down below clicking field you want to go for. In terms of flying with an airplane for passengers, if you fly smaller airplanes like the Cessna, or just do your regional fun flights, you don't have to do anything here, but for the bigger planes you have to change that. Pretty important to IFR. And then you see here, line isn't straight anymore. We have a lot of waypoints you can see over here. You have a small option to scroll to the right here. You see AGAV, which is Athens, is on the far right side, which is our destination. And we have waypoints here. We can't change them. We can delete them. I won't recommend to delete them. That's pretty much messed up. But in terms of the CRJ, there's a pretty important thing. CRJ won't import this flight plan. You have to program it inside the CRJ. But no worries, all the default airplanes from the flight sim, including the Airbus, will take these waypoints inside the flight computer. You don't have to enter it manually. It's only for the CHA, because it's a more or less study level pay-wear airplane. Okay, so for the Airbus, you don't cancel waypoints, you won't change anything. You can change different things, what we are going to do now. Now we have just a line. We zoom in. The line starts here at the end of the runway. Okay. And it goes obviously straight to the other runway. Okay. But we won't fly like this. That makes no sense. Normally we want to fly like over here, and then we will get vectors by the ATC, or we just have a given sit or star. Okay. That's like an entrance and an exit of an highway, an airway here. And you can select this sit and star by clicking here. There's a difference between the arrival airport and starting airport. Normally you will get the sit from the ATC at your starting airpoint. If you don't use the ATC, there's a cool trick. Select it by yourself. The first waypoint, which is La Zone, more or less always the same sit. Where is La Zone? We have to, normally you have to watch the charts. We don't have charts, we don't have the plan, but you know, you also get the starting airway runway from the ATC. So I don't know which one is it. It's 270, so I guess it would be 27. If you click here, see this yellow line. Now we have this standard instrument departure route, which leads us here from the runway straight. We have given points with given highs. And then we will reach our first waypoint from this yellow line, which is Atra. This one is Lalux, which should be, where is it? It's here, alright, okay. So the sit is a little bit longer, that's the first waypoint. And yeah, you have a very nice and straight departure, and the arrival side, same thing. Last waypoint is called Vjosa. We have 270 degrees, so we want to go for a runway which is nearly something with 2-1. So we select the runway with an ILSI approach. That's the approach where you can use the autopilot. The best and the easiest way, let's say so. There are different approaches like RNAV or VOR approaches, and it's a little bit the traditional way. ILS is a little bit more, yeah, computer based, to say it pretty easy. So we take this 21 left as our runway for landing, and what shows up is this magenta line. It's more or less, it's correct right now, but it's still on direct arrival, and we have what we have for the departure, we have for the arrival. Click here. There's, let's say so, a clean approach for the arrival airport. So you come here for the last waypoint. It's because in real time you have, I don't know, 20 planes coming to Athens. First one is here. Here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one. So it's not that there is a sharp turn into the airport. You have a little bit of a, yeah, run out zone for getting your plane slower and deeper, descending on a given high, which is more or less, I guess it's 1,000 feet in Athens. And then you have your final to the runway. If you look here, line is in one line with the runway. I see the airplanes here. We use the 3 runway. but you can also plan on this one. It's just check the wind. It's not live weather. I see. That's the problem. So this one, the online real-time planes using live weather, we don't use it. That's the but we can talk about this here. That's the weather part. You can, there's a pre-selected weather and time. You can just change that as you like. You can fly during nighttime, you can fly during evenings, and you can fly during the day. We use live traffic. You can also check that off here, or the KI, which is just a computer random flight stuff going around, but I have it on live traffic. Normally I would fly online, but as we discussed it earlier, I put it on off because there's a stuttery bug. So weather is more or less always live on my side, or not live, it's live, but the daytime is for me always, most of the time I fly daytime flights or time flights. It's pretty often that I change the daytime, but the weather is always live. So that's this field here, live, only can't change anything. It's the real world time and weather, and here you have the weather, but you can change the daytime. Now it should take a few seconds to change this wind information. Normally it should be something around 03 then. We will see. That could take a while as well. It depends on the server. But yeah, to sum this up, you take your plane, you switch here over to IFR. That's pretty important. Then you zoom into your starting air point, selecting gate and not the runway. You can't select the departure runway, but you can also use ATC. They will tell you which runway that you have to use. In that case, keep in mind you have to say it to the Airbus. You have to program it in the Airbus. You can't do that. You have to set it here. And then you select your SIT, your entrance to the given airway, and you select your star exit of the airway into the airport. So if you set that up, be sure you have enough fuel on board, and then that's a go. You click on the yellow spot and you will find yourself spawning on this airport. Then you can fly. So that's exactly what I was what I planned to talk about. How to set up on flight, how to get a feeling for the sim, for the program, what is what, where I can find this, and where I can set up on flight like we did. And after that, it's up to you, and learn flying and enjoy it. So that's more or less the first intro to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Feel free to ask anything you like. No questions? You can also comment questions inside the comment section on the video, and I will get back to you soon there and see what I can do. No questions? Nothing? Alright guys, then I would say that's a wrap with our, guess, is it? I don't know. Where is my stream time? Can't see it, okay. Yeah, so close that for today. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, enjoy your Sunday and take care for taking part, and see you guys soon. Bye.